We have shown off every single Shadow and Eminence character, and now it is finally time to do the rankings. Now I know this isn't as crazy as something like Kill la Kill, One Punch Man, Tensura, because those crossovers had so many units, but I still wanted to do it for Shadow and the Eminence, and just like how I want to do it with every single crossover going forward. Now Shadow was a character that I at first really didn't like, and it wasn't until I actually started using this character. This guy is the character to run alongside any physical character in the game. Like, if you are going up against a singular boss and you have Shadow on your team, and let's say you're using Uzu, or you're using Holy Knight Roy that's coming out in a few days, or maybe you're using Summer Miyu, and you're able to ramp up so much extra damage thanks to Shadow. Not to mention too, he has the insanely good niche of lowering an enemy's evasion rate, and we haven't even talked about his huge nuke ability, of course, his I Am Atomic. When you pop off that I Am Atomic and you just blow up everything and you buff up everybody's damage and give everyone defense ignore, it's like, come on, man. What is there not to love about this man, Shadow? Literally, the worst part about him, in my opinion, is just his slots. He's great on Mono Dark. He's great on any physical team. Not to mention, he has made a character that I would say was a bit lackluster at launch better, and that is Halloween Forte. Halloween Forte and Shadow is such a comp duo. This guy is a force to be reckoned with, and if I had to put him anywhere, I'm going to put him at number 2. Delta is a character that I really like in terms of her damage potential, in terms of the way how she plays. She has pretty quick animations, even her super art being like the huge slam down attack. All of it's really nice. The main issue I have with Delta is the fact that she doesn't do a bit more when it comes to her damage. Like, I would love for her to be a character that counter evasion bosses, or a character that had a way of inflicting disease, or maybe a bleed or a poison. She is going to be really good on Mono Fire, but I feel like if you're looking at all the Mono Fire options and you look at Delta, it's like, well, do you really need more damage on a Mono Fire team? And more than likely, the answer to that is going to be no, because you already have Sunraku. With all that being said, though, unfortunately, Delta is going to be the 4th unit in this crossover because, yeah, she's just a damage dealer. If she had more uses, I would be putting her higher, but if you don't need defense ignore, and let's face it, there's a lot of characters that just give your units defense ignore, like Shadow here, then you won't be turning to Delta all the time, but you may be able to do some pretty fun comps with her if you just want to lower fire res by a ton. Alpha is definitely not the number 1, I'll tell you that right now, but she is going to be the 3rd unit I have here. The thing that I think that makes Alpha just insane is her passive that allows your entire team to get full healed if she's ever at near death. This counters boss's final nuke mechanics. This counters like start of wave nuke effects, and you know, anything else in between where your team might die. But then you get into like the nitty gritty of it and you're like, whoa, this right here. For one, her Arch-Gen type is type E, which sucks because that means she has to directly compete with someone like Hoka. Inside of her mono team, she doesn't have to worry about this because she is one of the best characters for that, next to like Summer Chloe. Another thing that sucks whenever you're using her outside of Mono Light is that she really doesn't have anything over Hoka. If you have Hoka, for an example, you're going to use him every single day of the week. Hoka, sure, he doesn't give you as much of a buff whenever you have both of them maxed out. However, what Hoka has over Alpha is the speed. You use Hoka's super art, you're arch-genning more than Alpha ever could, and you instantly give everyone a 300% crit damage buff. Meanwhile, Alpha has to use her true art to get into the art gauge. She's giving you less arch-gen than someone like Hoka. She's also giving you just crit res, but then she has to use her super art 4 times before she's even able to outpace Hoka. And at that point, it's like, is it really worth using this character over Hoka? No, it's absolutely not. But inside of Mono Light, like I said, she's going to be insane. If you don't have a character like Hoka, or you don't have a character like Summer Chloe, she's also going to be insane. If you have those units, then you won't ever really use Alpha at all. Of course, though, she works really well with a lot of the characters that have came out with this crossover, like Shadow and even like Delta, and she works really well with Beta, which is the best unit from this crossover. The reason why Beta and Alpha can actually work together is because Beta has a very unique Arch-Gen typing, which is type F. And Beta alone gives 40% DR on her true art. That is so dumb. She gives you more DR instantly than someone like Shiro Emiya with unlimited blade works. And the cool thing about that is that you can actually use Beta and Shiro on the same team to get a 70% DR buff instantly. Like, what? What is that? Also, they're both water characters, and guess what? Mono water is on top, baby. One thing I will tell you though is that this character brings you instant value whenever you use her on literally anything. When it comes to using her in a physical team, a magic team, a fire team, it doesn't matter. You throw Beta on any team in the game and she gives you instant value with Arch Gen and damage mitigation plus a barrier. Also, if you're like, oh, she can't heal because of her art, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you have the brand new equip from Shadow and Eminence, which heals everybody's max HP, if you are a water unit and it's a support item, or you have Lisa Smart Skirt, you're able to technically heal the team even without them being a water unit. Beta is literally made for the current day meta. She is easily one of the strongest units from this entire crossover and one of the strongest units in Grand Summoners right now. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be my list. Tell me down below what you all think about this crossover. Did you guys like it? Did you guys not? Or tell me how you feel about the rankings. Would you change anybody? Do you think someone is over someone else? Or how would you rank them yourself? But hey, if you want to check out any of these showcases, of course, they're going to be popping up on your screen right now. You guys can go over there and check them out instantly. Guarantee you love the videos if you haven't watched them already. And oh, one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.